everyone, just checking in with you for week 2 of your course. You just completed week 1. Week 1 was primarily an introduction to the course, and you learned during week 1 the differences between primary and secondary historical sources, along with their associated biases. I won't be testing you on the differences between those type of sources or the biases throughout the rest of this course, but you will need to understand the differences because I will refer to primary and secondary sources in your assignments and such. So I want you to be able to understand, what they are when you're asked to find a primary source or a secondary source, etc. Also understand that primary and secondary sources are viewed differently in different types of disciplines. For example, science sees the primary source differently than a history course does. So keep that in mind when you are attending or doing projects or assignments for your other courses. Now we are moving on to week 2, where you will be learning about Reconstruction and U.S. industrialization. Reconstruction is the period directly after the Civil War, and it's primarily about trying to reintegrate the country. And there are going to be different plans and different viewpoints of how that happens. But one important thing to keep in mind is that Reconstruction ultimately fails, and the consequences of that failure will be recognized through the rest of the 19th century, throughout the 20th century, and we still see it today, especially with respect to the experiences of African Americans. So keep that in mind when you are reviewing Reconstruction. During U.S. industrialization, you're going to see the rise of big corporations, and you're going to see the consequences of the rise of those corporations. You're going to see a lot of abuse of workers and a response to those abuse, such as unions, etc. So keep those ideas in mind, and please let me know if you have any questions on the lectures or any of the assignments. I posted your grades from week 1's assignments, so please let me know if you have any questions about those assignments. One note I do not want to make about the primary and secondary sources quiz is that when I was referring to bias in the quiz, what I was looking for was the bias that I went over in the lecture, such as nationality, gender, political, etc. So if you missed any points, it may have been from that, or you incorrectly identified a primary source as a secondary or a secondary as a primary. So, but if you have any questions about any of that, please let me know, and always ask questions. Okay? All right, have a good week, and I will be checking back with you soon.